Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nikuzuki Knits podcast. My name is Katie, and today is Tuesday, July 19th, 2016, and it is episode 35. And I'm actually coming to you on my second wedding anniversary. Dallas had to go up to work today, so we celebrated yesterday, and I figured I should probably try to stick to my weekly podcasting schedule, so here I am. It's actually the first nice day that we've had in a week. Well, actually 10 days. The weather has been really rainy and crummy for the whole Stampede and Rangeland Derby and the rodeo. So yeah, it's nice to actually see some sunshine. This is going to be a fairly short podcast because I don't have a lot to talk about and my battery light is flashing at me. So the first couple things to talk about are my works in progress. What I have in my hands right now are Dallas's contrasting socks. I'm just putting the heel in the second sock right now. I don't actually know where the first sock is, but they're almost done, so yay. The other work in progress that I have as well is another sock. This is my contribution for the Canada Cow right now. I'm knitting a pair of concrete and tulip socks. The yarn is by Caterpillar Green Yarn. She's out on Vancouver Island. And as you can see by this progress keeper here, I did get a few rows done on it last week. Not too much though. This is something that I picked up, and for whatever reason I didn't, I thought of it going out to Stampede, but I was already halfway to Calgary, so I wasn't going back for it. And I'm sorry, Dallas got me sick, so if I'm kind of sound like I'm stuffed up, it's because I am. Then, the other thing that got a ton of work on it is my little wave cardigan. And so I've gotten through the shoulder decreases and the neck decreases. That's actually the inside. So you can see where the spinning wheel is. I didn't have a lot of work in here left to do. It was mostly, I think, yeah, it was just past the sleeve, like where I started the sleeve, or like the yoke, I guess. I did actually stitch Kitchener my underarms together. I've woven in all the ends, except for a little bit just for the blocking. And yeah, the majority of the work was in getting the saddle shoulders complete as well. So I just actually finished those about 15 minutes ago, so this is very fresh. I am going to block it before I pick up the stitches for the ribbing, simply because it does need a little bit extra length. It fits really well through here because I can actually adjust that with the button band, but the length I need a little bit more length, and I think that that's going to come in the blocking because of these twisted stitches. That's getting a lot of, like, I'll get some length at least. Sleeves are the perfect length actually. It's just the body, and a little bit of that will also be adding into the, sorry, let me catch my breath since I can't breathe through my nose. I'll be in the button band as well because I won't be pulling length up to cover width. So yeah, I'm really happy with it so far. I really like these saddle shoulders. I will definitely be using that in my own designs at some point, simply because it's kind of a modified raglan, and it fits me really well through these shoulders because I'm fairly broad. Most shoulders with set in the sleeves, I need, like, they don't sit properly. Like, even this t-shirt you can see isn't sitting necessarily where it should. So there's those two things. I am currently reading a book. I'm reading The Emperor of the Eight Islands, which is the tale of Shikanoko, which it's based on, well, it's based in Japan, or mythological Japan. And it's by Leon Hearn. It's a young adult book so far as I can tell. I would definitely say older teens, but I'm enjoying that. Sorry, yeah, I decreased there. On the heel decreases. I don't know why I'm trying to do this while I'm talking, but I am. Yeah, enjoying it so far. I want to talk about the Canada Cow, which is going on right now, in conjunction with a bunch of other podcasters in Canada. All the information is on the Ravelry group. I'm not going to go very far into it here, but I did receive some more of the prizes just yesterday, actually. So the first two prizes are going to be the Canadian Provinces bags that I showed you last week. Then the other prizes have generously been donated to us by Fishnets Yarns. Now, I did talk about Fishnets being an excellent option for, the Canada Cal, because she actually has the HBC striping yarn. And so she's actually donated 2 skeins, different ones. This one is the Canadiana, and if you've been watching for a bit, you know that I knit a pair of socks out of these earlier this year. So it's Canadiana, 80% superwash merino wool, 20% nylon, for about 400 yards per 100 grams. Definitely enough for 2 pairs, like 2 socks, a pair of socks. And the really cool thing that Jody's done is she split it up so that you can knit. Well, I had to rewind mine because I knit them both top up, or toe up. But you can start from one end and the other end, and you can do them toe up, top down, and you'll have 2 matching socks, and like perfectly matching too. This is such a cool yarn. Looks really amazing. And then she also donated a HBC stripes only, also on the Strong Heart base, which is the 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. So that's stripes only. We also traded because we did. So I actually have another skein of HBC Canadiana for me. This is actually probably going to be, I've got one other skein in stash, so I think I'm going to make a pair of mittens, and then I know where this one's going. But they watch the podcast, so I'm not going to talk about it here. And then I'm keeping the bootstrap, which is a BFL, it's an 80% superwash BFL, 20% nylon, and it's also the HBC stripes only. So these are going to be socks for me too. So I might cast those on for the Canada Cal as well. The other part that's going on is we have the Ridged for Your Pleasure Cal running in the Nikosuki Knits group. And I'm going to be casting on a pair of socks for myself, but I don't know what to cast on yet. This yarn is the yarn that I used. It's the yarn brand that I used for Dallas's socks that are actually the sample knit for those. So I know that this would work. But I've also had this in the stash since the same amount of time. So I think I might do this because I don't actually have a pair of socks that have any pink in them. And I think this, probably the green would be a really nice color to highlight. Sorry, I'm just trying to find a piece here that illustrates it. I think the green would be a good one to highlight. It'd pop really well. The second one is a Heritage Paints, hand painted by Cascade Yarns. And it's a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. So the Canada Cal runs until September 30th. And the Ridged for Your Pleasure runs until September 15th, I believe. Again, all the rules are in the Nikosuki Knits group. Finally, I am administering the Cal in the Knit City group, which runs until September 15th. There's already some entries in the FO thread. I will just mention that any entries there had to be finished on or after July 15th. But it's in support of our Knit City vendors, the indie dyers and the pattern designers. So go take a look at that as well. If you're participating in the Canada Cal, it's a really good way to double dip. If you're interested in if you're interested in going to Knit City, it's an awesome way to do that because they're giving away a set of tickets and some other Knit City swag. And it's an awesome way to support those designers, and you can double dip into the Canada Cal with the entries too, because most of the indie dyers and pattern designers are from Canada. Not all. I know there's a couple of US vendors, but definitely take a look if you can cross over and double dip there. All right. Chatter. Told you this is going to be fast. Sorry. So I already told you it's our wedding anniversary, 2 years. I did actually go get my hair redone this past week. I'll put it down because we did something really cool this time. We actually did a purple blend into the pink, and I'm loving it. Just something a little bit different. And the purple hopefully won't let my roots show as quickly, which is always nice. But I really like the blend in here with the ombre. So it's too warm to leave my hair down, unfortunately, but that's how that went. We went to the Stampede on Sunday, which is Championship Sunday. Went to the rodeo and the chuck wagon races. Absolutely poured during the end of the rodeo. So the track was, rather than the thunder of the hooves for the Rangeland Derby, is definitely more of a sloosh. Those poor horses and poor men riding in that mud, they're just absolutely coated. And some horses love it, and some horses, they don't necessarily dislike it, but they don't run as good as they do on dry tracks. So it always makes for an extra dimension that's very interesting in those races. I've also, because we're going back to Japan, I've been spiffing up my kanji reading skills. So I've been using a program online called WaniKani, and it's been working really well. I'm really happy with my progress with it because it doesn't let you, I was trying to figure out a way that I could study Japanese again, because unfortunately that is what's dropped off. It has been my reading and vocabulary skills. And this program is supposed to be able to get me up to a reading level where I can read the newspaper in about a year and a half, along with about 6,000 vocabulary words. And so I'm working very diligently on that because I can hopefully get through it about a third of that before a quarter. Just under a quarter before we go back to Japan. And what I like about it is it's not letting me progress before I'm ready. So you get scored and you can't progress unless you get a certain score. But at the same time, it's not detrimental that I'm not progressing. It's actually to my benefit. Unlike doing a class on it where it's detrimental to my grades or my GPA, or I can't progress without the grade, it's also not pushing me through without me actually understanding what I'm reading. So I'm really appreciating that program. It is something that I will probably subscribe to. Right now I'm just doing the free levels. And I've been working on that for about a week to 10 days as well. And I'm only about 70% through the second level. So it's definitely not a quick process, which is fine by me. I understand that's going to take me quite a while. And actually I do appreciate it because at this point I probably do know more kanji now than I did coming out of 2 years of Japanese classes, because the focus there rightfully is on vocabulary and speaking skills, and that's not something that this is teaching me, is the speaking skills. However, it's thankfully, having been back, it's my vocabulary and my reading skills that have dropped and not actually my speaking and grammar understanding, at least most of the time. Those are at a higher level than my kanji and my reading, or my kanji and my vocabulary. So I'm going to work on those first, and then I'll go back and review my grammar before we go as well. The other thing I've been doing is I have been trying to have more smoothies, and I was wondering if any of you had any smoothie recipe recommendations, mostly for breakfast. My restrictions on it is I don't like smoothies with fruit juice or fruit-centric necessarily. I want my focus to be more on fiber and protein so that they're a satisfying meal instead of being something that I have to snack after. I am diabetic, so I do have to watch the fruit juices. That's the other consideration. But yeah, if you guys have any recommendations, I would love to see them, because a lot of what I'm finding is they're okay. They're not bad, but variety is always nice. And knowing that's been tested out by someone else instead of me just doing a Google search and not necessarily finding ones that fulfill that need right off the bat either. That is pretty much it. Oh, I got the final part of my birthday gift from Dallas, actually. And it came in today, so it kind of counted as an anniversary present. But he knows me so well. Look at this case for my DS. It's kitties on a Japanese bridge with cherry blossoms. It's so pretty. So, and I'm actually upstairs tonight, so I'm sorry if you can hear anything different. My neighbors were being a little bit noisy earlier. But, yeah, it's really nice. He ordered it over a month ago, so it's taken a while to get here. But it worked out nicely. Other than that, I am prepping for Knit City. I don't really have any shop news. And I really want to go block my cardigan. So I will chat with you guys all again in a week. And sorry it's such a short episode, but thank you for joining me. Just like every week. And yeah, I'll chat with you all soon. Bye.